Welcome to News Nexus. Today, we're diving into a global issue that is often mentioned in passing, yet rarely understood in its full depth. That issue is unemployment, one of the most devastating and persistent challenges facing nations across the world. Unemployment is not simply about numbers on a chart. Behind each statistic lies a human being. Young graduates with dreams deferred, families struggling to make ends meet, entire communities caught in cycles of poverty and frustration. Unemployment robs people not only of income, but of dignity, stability, and hope for the future. In this program, we will examine the countries facing the world's worst unemployment crises. We'll break down what makes these situations so severe, what forces have fueled them, and how they're shaping the lives of millions. And perhaps most importantly, we'll ask, what can be done to change this trajectory? When we talk about unemployment, we're not just discussing a lack of jobs. Unemployment is the fuel for a wide range of problems. It drives poverty, it triggers mass migration, it increases crime rates, it undermines trust in governments, and sparks political unrest. Think about this. When millions of young people feel they have no place in society, no path to a stable future, frustration grows. And frustration can quickly turn into anger. It can lead to protests, revolutions, even the collapse of governments. The Arab Spring, for instance, was ignited in part by high unemployment and economic despair. In today's interconnected world, one country's crisis rarely stays confined within its borders. A nation with mass unemployment might see its people flee in search of better opportunities, creating refugee crises for neighbors. Economic instability in one country can rattle global markets, impact trade, and affect nations thousands of miles away. This is why unemployment is not just a local or national problem, it is a global one. Let's begin with South Africa, a country often described as the continent's most industrialized economy. Yet beneath its modern skylines lies a staggering reality. South Africa's unemployment rate consistently ranks among the highest in the world. Nearly a third of its workforce is unemployed, and among young people the rate has soared above 50%. Why is this happening? Part of the answer lies in history. The legacy of apartheid created deep inequalities that persist today. Education systems remain uneven. Opportunities are limited. The economy struggles to absorb its growing population. Add to that corruption scandals, failing infrastructure, and constant power shortages, and you see why industries cannot grow and create jobs. The result is frustration at every level. High crime rates, violent protests, and an exodus of skilled workers, doctors, engineers, teachers, leaving for countries that offer better opportunities. For South Africa, unemployment is more than an economic problem. It is the single greatest threat to its stability and future growth. Now, let's move to Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, home to more than 200 million people. With vast oil reserves, entrepreneurial cities, and a dynamic youth population, Nigeria should be booming. But the reality is grim. Official unemployment has hovered around 30%, and when underemployment is included, the picture is even darker. Millions of young Nigerians are educated, ambitious, and ready to contribute. Yet they are left jobless, or forced into informal work like street vending or motorcycle taxis. Economists warn that this is a demographic time bomb. Every year, millions of young Nigerians enter the labor market, but the economy simply cannot keep pace. The outcome? A surge in migration, both legal and illegal. Many young Nigerians risk their lives crossing deserts and seas, searching for opportunities abroad. At home, rising frustration has fueled crime, cyber scams, and even extremist movements that prey on disillusioned youth. Nigeria's story reveals a painful truth. A large population is only a strength if there are opportunities. Otherwise, it becomes a burden. Consider Egypt. On paper, its unemployment rate looks better than South Africa or Nigeria. But beneath the numbers lies a worrying trend. Each year, Egyptian universities graduate hundreds of thousands of young people. Yet the economy cannot provide enough jobs to match their skills. Many are forced into low-paying informal work with no stability. In a nation of over 100 million people, this imbalance is dangerous. A frustrated youth population combined with limited political freedoms creates a fragile balance. If too many lose faith in the system, unrest can easily follow. Egypt's unemployment challenge is a reminder that statistics don't always tell the full story. Now we turn to the Middle East. In Jordan, unemployment hovers around 20%. For young people, it's nearly double. With few natural resources, Jordan struggles to provide opportunities. Many Jordanians end up seeking work abroad, sending money home to support their families. In Iraq, despite being rich in oil, millions remain jobless. Years of war, corruption, and weak governance have crippled the job market. For young Iraqis, despair often spills into the streets. Protests erupt, demanding not only jobs but dignity, fairness, and a government that serves the people. And in Palestine, the crisis is even more severe. In Gaza, youth unemployment exceeds 70%. This is not just economic failure, it is a humanitarian tragedy. Generations are growing up with no access to meaningful work. The result is hopelessness, despair, and a society where survival overshadows every other dream. Across the Atlantic, Latin America also faces its struggles. In Brazil, unemployment has improved since its peaks, but millions remain jobless. Inequality continues to divide the country. In Argentina, inflation and debt crises keep the economy unstable. For many young Argentinians, the dream is not to build a future at home, but to find a way to leave. Then there is Venezuela, once one of Latin America's wealthiest nations. Today, it stands as one of its greatest tragedies. Hyperinflation, political turmoil, and economic collapse have erased industries. Jobs have vanished. Millions have fled across borders. For those who remain, survival often outweighs employment. Venezuela's collapse is perhaps the starkest reminder of how quickly opportunity can disappear. Even Europe, often seen as prosperous, is not immune. Spain and Greece were devastated by the 2008 financial crisis. More than a decade later, youth unemployment remains stubbornly high. Graduates in Madrid or Athens often end up in temporary, low-paying jobs, or moving abroad to Northern Europe. In parts of Italy and France, underemployment is widespread. Official numbers may look moderate, but many workers live on short-term contracts or juggle multiple gigs. The rise of the gig economy has brought flexibility, but at the cost of security. So why do these crises persist? Several reasons stand out. Political instability, corruption, weak governance, economic mismanagement, especially over-reliance on commodities like oil. Demographics, with massive youth populations entering labor markets faster than jobs are created. And global technological shifts, automation and artificial intelligence, which eliminate traditional jobs while creating fewer new ones. The consequences are far-reaching. Unemployment drives poverty, but also fuels crime, drug abuse, migration, and mental health crises. It sparks revolts and revolutions. Look at Venezuela, where collapse forced millions to flee. Look at South Africa, where joblessness feeds one of the highest crime rates in the world. Look at the Arab Spring, where economic despair lit the spark of revolution. And yet, there are signs of hope. In Rwanda and Ethiopia, investment in infrastructure and technology is creating pathways to new industries. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are diversifying away from oil, focusing on tourism, renewable energy, and technology. In Latin America, Chile and Uruguay show that good governance and innovation can keep unemployment relatively low. The solutions are not simple. They require long-term vision, investment in education, and an economy that values innovation and inclusion. Above all, they require leadership that puts people first. As we close, let's remember this. Unemployment is not just about statistics or percentages. It is about people. The father searching desperately for work. The young graduate wondering if education was worth it. The mother juggling odd jobs to feed her children. These are the faces behind the crisis. The countries we've discussed, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Palestine, Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, Spain, Greece, and many others, show us the many faces of unemployment. Each is unique, but the pain is universal. Unemployment crises tell us that something is deeply broken in the way our global economy works. And if these problems are not addressed, the consequences will echo far beyond national borders. Thank you for joining us on News Nexus. If you found this deep dive informative, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories that matter. Stay tuned, stay informed, and let's keep the conversation going.